Hey guys, I don't know if this is gonna work. I wanted to do a really quick gear review before I throw a bunch of stuff out and give some stuff away. So this is what worked and what didn't work for me on my first Camino Frances. And excuse, holy, I haven't showered. I'm disgusting. I just arrived in Santiago today. So we'll start with the bag. This was my bag. It was the Osprey Kite 36. Loved it, wouldn't change a thing. It was super comfortable. The back is breathable. It was definitely a great purchase. There's the shell that you get when you check into the Pilgrim's office in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. The next most important thing were my shoes. So these are, these are North Face Hedgehogs. I was really picky about my shoes and wanting to make sure that they were comfortable and worn in before I went. So I bought a few pairs and wore them around the house and returned them. These are exceptional. They got me through 800 kilometers. The tread has held up really nicely. And I really didn't have, to be fair, any problems with my feet. I had I got one blister that's, not that bad yesterday. And it was because we did 30 kilometers in the heat and I didn't stop to change my clothes or to change my socks. So these were incredible. My walking partner, Karina, also did the same amount of research and didn't have as much luck with her shoes. And that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, because you can't necessarily prepare for the degree of walking you're gonna do in advance. You just can't. These I highly recommend. They're breathable and they were a bit waterproof, and the waterproof part didn't even really matter because it rained once and it was just a drizzle. So this was my rain jacket, just a McKinley. It's got some air vents. I did wear it a few times just as an extra layer because it was cooler in the mornings and the evenings. And also I found that this really cheap and cheerful down jacket that I brought, which I got so much use out of, it needed to be washed over and over because it just would soak up my sweat, and it stunk. So I'm throwing this out. This is disgusting. It was a $30 cheapie, but weighs nothing. I wore it all the time. I highly recommend, especially if you're gonna do the Camino in the months of April or May or in the fall. I brought rain pants just because I'm a climber. I wore them once, just taking up weight, unnecessary. I'm not a poncho girl, so we did not do the ponchos. The underwear, I just took some breathable underwear. I took 4 pairs. So these are my clean ones that I have left. That was the right amount of underwear for me. 2 sports bras. They're both really cheap. I think they're both from Old Navy, and I'm throwing them out as soon as I can because they're disgusting. So I'm wearing one. This is the other. And I wish that I had one more, to be honest. But that was the bra situation. Moving on to socks. I was really picky about the socks. So I tried many different combinations and found something that worked. So I like the Aninji socks, the toe socks. In the beginning, I would wear these with a layer over top. I didn't do Vaseline. I did none of that stuff. I found that with the extra layer, my feet would overheat and then I would get a heat rash. So eventually I just got confident enough to wear the toe socks on their own and I had no problems. So when these were dirty, I would revert to these double-lined right socks. So they're 2 layers. They're still pretty lightweight, and they held up really well. Again, because I was experimenting with socks, I also went with just a smart wool pair. They were fine, so I would use those as a backup. And these are sock liners that I really didn't wear, to be honest. Okay, pants. So pants I'm wearing, which are these just cotton yoga pants. They were supposed to be like my lounge pajama bottoms, and I ended up hiking a lot in them because I just couldn't keep up with constantly washing things. And I would bring them again. They were fine. They're not quick dry, but they were really comfortable. Then I have these North Face hiking tights, but they have lots of pockets. Absolutely loved these. Loved them. Great choice. As it got hotter towards the end of May, they did get, to be not as favorable because the black, I would get heat rashes all over my legs. But I love these. I love the pockets. I could just put my money in the pockets, put my phone in the other pocket. The Pilgrim Credential, I could put that in my pocket. I had everything at the ready. So those were great. So the pants I'm wearing, those pants, and then I brought these. They're just Salomon convertible pants. I never did the short thing because I hate my legs and they're pasty white and hairy and I'm too proud. But I wore these all the time. They're now falling off me. And they're great because I wore them in the Meseta when it was really hot, and then I started wearing them again when it was super hot. Shirts. This is just a synthetic Arc'teryx t-shirt. I'm going to keep this because it was good quality. And I brought, this is a Patagonia smart wool t-shirt. Loved it. I also went with a long sleeve shirt because I hate covering myself constantly in sunscreen. So I wore this one. And when they're washed, they smell a little bit. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to have that technology that just repels the odor, but whatever. These shirts were great. I have no regrets. And then I also had this button-down Arc'teryx top that my sister gave me for Christmas, and I wore it all the time. I loved that it had long sleeves. I could roll up the sleeves. I used it as an extra layer. It was perfect. So I had the right amount of tops, the right amount of pants. I had one bra, too few. What else did I bring? The sleeping bag. Best thing ever. Use it all the time in the albergues. People froze. Plus I like having my own thing against my skin, and people with just the silk liners were sometimes cold. So to me, this weighs nothing. It's 1.8 pounds. It was definitely worth it. It's annoying to pack up, but I loved it. This was my towel. Karina made fun of me because I cut it in half to save weight. So, it was not extremely practical when I was drying myself, but I just dealt with it. At one point I thought I lost it. And so then I was using my buff to dry my body off after a shower. And that actually works really well. So if you wanted to be a super minimalist, you could just use your buff. Do not come on the Camino without a buff. There were days it was so windy and dusty. And some of the farm smells, if you're not used to them, this is your friend. So the buff was a great headband. It kept my earplugs in at night during the snoring. It was very worth it. Another system that I'm so happy with was my water bottle. So this is the Platypus. It's lightweight, it's plastic, it weighs nothing. And this little hook would hook onto the side of my backpack, and I could just whip it out anytime. So instead of having to ask Karina to reach into my bag, grab the water bottle from the side pocket, which really isn't conveniently located in the backpacks unless you take them off or are double jointed, this worked really well for me. It holds a liter. It was perfect. I brought, these are North Face touchscreen gloves. I wore them a lot. My hands, especially in the Pyrenees, my hands were always cold. I would say I wore them probably 60% of the time when it was chilly, and I was really happy to have them. I brought a little hat. I did wear it a few days. Probably could have gotten away without having it, but was happy that I had it on hand. Poles. So these were my lifeline in the beginning. I swore by the poles. I swore by them. They helped me so much. As I got more confident, I would say I haven't used poles in 10 days. And so then they just became a pain to carry. But I think that poles are actually really helpful, especially with all the ups and downs and the hills of the Camino. You just know how to use them so that you get the most out of them. Okay, I had to buy a knee brace. You could bring one from home. It might save you some money because I ended up spending €40 on this, but my knee was shot by day 5. So these are things now that I'm going to show you that I've had to buy. I bought a small compactable day pack, which was fantastic. This was €3. It was nothing. So I'm glad I bought it and I used it all the time. And I bought this butterfly scarf, which I got it for €1 in Burgos, and I used it for everything. I would use it as an extra sun protection thing, and sometimes it was like, you know, doing that because the sun is ridiculous here. And I loved it. It's so pretty and it's multifunctional. I even actually wore it as a bandeau when I had to do laundry. It looked a bit scandy, not gonna lie, but I had no clothes to put on, so multifunctional. What else? So my second pair of shoes were these beautiful Crocs. They're also my shower shoes. They work just great. At one point I wished I had brought Keens, but I didn't have any foot problems, so really the Crocs were just the go-to. At the albergues, they make you put your hiking boots kind of outside, and this is what I would walk around in. So not the prettiest, but dual purpose. I could wear them in the shower and then, you know, go out and about in them. What else? Single most useful thing that I brought. This Tilly hat, which is my mother's. I wore this thing every single day. Like every day. The brim is adjustable, it's malleable, I can do this. It doesn't weigh a whole lot, and honestly, I'm pretty sure I saved myself from skin cancer a multitude of times. So this was the bomb. Thank you, Mom. Things that weren't useful. I brought bike gloves because I thought I'd get blisters from holding on to my poles. Never used them. What else? The infamous Dirty Girls Gators, which are so lovely and were such a challenge for me to get. I wore them on the first day, and that's it. You don't need them. You really don't. The spork, never used it, not once. The headlamp, used for 15 minutes one morning, the day we did the 42K, and we got up at like 5:30. Honestly, not worth it. I could have just used the light from my phone. So this thing weighs a bit and it was useless. People who use their headlamps in the albergues at night are really annoying, because it just shines everywhere, and so I would say no to the headlamp. Other things that were useful, I have a battery pack. It gives 4 full charges. It is heavy, but I highly recommend it. It saved my bacon many times. And the adapter, I had to buy a new one because I lost it. And so this looks massive, but it's just because I have to get rid of a bunch of stuff that I've been too lazy to combine and get rid of. This is the Toiletry Bag. So I pretty much had the right toiletries, and then in Leon I bought some new skin products from Kiehl's because my skin was so dry. Subsequently lost one of them, which I'm miffed at because Kiehl's is not cheap, but that meant I added stuff. So I have a couple of creams in there that I will continue to use when I get back home. And then I have things that I need to just get rid of. Like this was filled with moisturizer when I started, and you can see I've used almost all of it. Ran out of deodorant, so I had to buy new deodorant. Ran out of conditioner. Yes, my conditioner is purple. Doesn't matter, I've just been scrimping. So toiletry bag, then you add things like Voltaren. This is your friend when you're doing the Camino, and you can get it over the counter here. So toiletry bag. This is my pharmacy, which is hilarious because it did not look like this. I had a lot of gastro issues, which I have no idea why, but I did. So I've got weird pharmaceutical gastro stuff, but the single greatest thing that saves you on the Camino is ibuprofen. So I was taking ibuprofen probably once every second day, just to deal with pain in my heels and my Achilles. Other than that, this was my wallet, teeny tiny, has my credit cards and my sunglasses, or sunnies as Karina would call them. I wore these every single solitary day. And lastly, a little lightweight bag for laundry. So overall, I would say I was really pleased with what I brought, how useful it was, and the things that I didn't have, that I didn't anticipate needing, that I ended up picking up, like the extra little squishable day pack and the scarf. You can get anywhere on the Camino. So that's a wrap. I just completed 32 days. Well, technically this is day 33. And I'm overwhelmed, but I wanted to make this before I start because I'm gonna purge today. I'm leaving back for Canada on Monday, and I can't wait to get rid of some stuff. So if you're watching and you're thinking of doing the Camino and you have any questions, just let me know. Pop me a question and I'm happy to help. Thank you so much. That was the gear review.